We have executed many jobs with the help of default runners available in the GitHub Actions. Even enterprise customers can use their custom runners. The same can be even spin up from their on-premise as well. Consider that we have some 100 or more than 200 internal clients. Each clients will be performing their CI/CD pipeline through GitHub Action, and that involves a lot of dependencies with the certain JavaScript modules or the Python modules or any other third-party applications. We will be getting a plain vanilla runner, and all the modules need to be downloaded and installed prior we deploy the CI/CD pipeline. In that case, assume that one of the portal external third-party repository or the website is unavailable at the time of deployment. Of course, our CI/CD pipeline will land into a trouble, and it is practically impossible to create a custom runner for each and every customer. So how do we handle the situation? For that case, a customer can create their own container image. They will download all the necessary modules and libraries there, and they will pack it and export it to their GitHub repository, the Docker repository. Now, when we configure the GitHub action workflow, there we will be mentioning the execution should be from the container. So what will happen here? The action will be getting executed. It will create a runner from their default runner side or the on-premise as per our configuration. On top of that runner, we would be executing our container. So all the necessary packages and the modules are available in the container. From the container, we would be executing our further CI/CD pipeline, so that we can eliminate this execution time. Longer execution time. We can eliminate the site unavailability problems, and it will be perfectly getting executed. And we can make sure that the necessary modules or a proper version of modules would be used for our deployment rather than just blindly downloading it from the websites. And since we have already scanned the images and baked the image, already scanned the container, then we baked the image and we scanned it once again and we exported it to the Docker repository, so that we can make sure that the container image is safe and secure, and that is meeting the IT/RMS compliance too, so that we can eliminate all these risk factors. Let's consider such an example here. Okay, let's move on to the video. Here's the official documentation for running jobs in a container. We will create a container key under runs on, and we have to define the fully qualified container name. Then we can create a credential key. Under the credential key, we can define the username and password. So as and when you execute the workflow, it will create a runner. After that, it will log into the Docker repository with the credentials. Then it will download the Docker image. Then it will create a container from this image. After that, the necessary steps and jobs will be getting executed. Also, if you have a common NFS share or certain EBS volumes present, you can do a volume mount in this containers as well. So if you have a bulk softwares or something present in it, you can just mount this NFS share or the base volume to this container, and we can use it from there. Let's move on to the practical session here. We would be defining our container parameter first. For that, we have to give container, and under container we have to define image. we have to mention the fully qualified image name. So I'm going to define docker.io, and here is my repository. In this repository, I have a bunch of images here. And among that, I'm going to select one NGDM. This is my data science Docker image that I created, and I'm going to use this 1.0.0. So how do we use that? I'll use this way: Melvin Satishan /NGDM :1.0.0. This part is completed. Next, I have to define the credentials because this is hosted in my private repository. So the GitHub action need to log into my Docker repository in order to pull this image. For that, I will define a parameter called credentials. Under the credential, I'll be defining username and I'll be defining password. Now the username is going to be, I have already defined my GitHub credentials in the secret so that we don't need to separately do anything, and we don't need to hard code it here. So we can fetch it from the GitHub secrets. So that would be secrets, not password basically. Let's look at the parameter settings and actions. Here Docker username and Docker password. These two parameters are there in the GitHub secrets. All right. We have to take the password too. All right. So the necessary things are ready. We are going to do a shell. Which shell are we going to execute? Then ls-ltr customer data, pwd, ls-ltr, these things. Okay, nothing more on it. And even we will examine all those parameters later. Let's do this exercise, and I'm going to mention update. Here it is. I'm going to do a pull request. To make it up to date. Then I'm going to update. Then I'm going to sync the changes. All right. So since we have already configured the event driven, it must trigger an event and the job must be up and running. Yes, updating it. So if we look at here, it has already created the runner. Then it is downloading the Docker image by first it logged into the Docker hub. Then it is downloading the necessary image. Since it is 5 GB, it is gonna take some quite decent amount of time. So I'll pause this video for a minute. Once this download is completed, we will examine all those things. It seems the image has already been downloaded. So if you look at here, what might have happened? Here it downloaded the container image. Then it created a container and it performed a volume mount. So this way we can do it. And I have already performed a couple of commands, right? So those command output as well available here. If you look at it here, we are able to see the customer data. We are able to see the necessary configuration files in our parent repository, and everything is working as expected. So this way we can save our time and effort for downloading the necessary modules and packages every time. And we can make sure that our CI/CD deployment will be 100% successful and there won't be any issues in downloading the respective modules or packages from the third-party websites. And indeed, if there is a problem in connecting to the GitHub repository, of course, the whole build will fail. We can make sure that if if there is a build is happening, it is going to happen 100%. If it is not going to happen, it will fail in the beginning itself. So we don't need to do the re-execution, or we don't need to do for the troubleshooting for the availability and all. And we can make sure that the images consistency too, the libraries modules inside installed in the image, it will be there as it is, and the image is read-only file, so that it is impossible to inject something into the image as well. So security perspective also, we would be perfectly all bugs injected inside that too. So that's it from my side today, and we will come up with another topic in our upcoming session. So thank you so much for your time, and this is Melvin Sudhishan signing off here. Thank you.